All right, I am live on scene over at Warriors Guild here in Casa Grande. I've got Jerry Porter. Jerry Porter, you got 3 fighters at Rise of the Prospects this Saturday, November 5th, at the Rialto Theater here in Tucson. Down in Tucson. Talk to me about your 3 fighters. I know we got a championship level fight here. We got another flyweight in action, and then Tyler as well.
I'm super excited about this. Yeah, so Alonzo, right now, him and the other guy have actually went back and forth on who is ranked number 1 in the state, and so they're eliminating that doubt coming up this weekend. Danny's back in and fighting, back at 125 again. He's been a little bit heavier, and so back at his natural weight for this one. And then Tyler's he's done some kickboxing and Muay Thai, but now he's making his MMA debut with us. So.
Well, and I know here at Warriors Guild, you take your athletes very seriously, and you make them kind of go through a process before they compete in MMA. Do you care to break that down?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times, especially at this game, it's so competitive, and guys are getting thrown in with guys that have been training their entire life, went through school as, training martial arts in the evening, and then they get into it, and some guys just see it on TV and want to jump into MMA, and then I've heard of guys 6 weeks later being in a fight, you know what I mean? And so we don't necessarily do that. I like them to, 1, be a little bit more well-rounded, and 2, get through some of those same jitters. So I like them to compete at least 5 times in some other combat sport before they do it. Now that can be, I usually prefer that it's 2 striking matches, 2 or 3, because again, they owe me 5, wherever they feel they need the most work at. So for example, they might do 3 kickboxing fights and 2 jiu-jitsu matches, or 2 wrestling matches, or submission, no-gi, submission wrestling. So something, they'll give me 2 grappling ones, or 2 or 3, and then they'll give me 2 or 3 striking ones. And then if they're looking good and they're ready, then we'll have them mix it up a little bit and go straight and go into MMA from there.
Well, I like the breakdown, and again, it makes sure that your athletes are there. You know what I mean? It makes sure that they're mentally and physically prepared for, mixed martial arts as opposed to just kickboxing or just BJJ. But I want to talk about the 3 fighters that we have on this card. Talk to me about Alonzo first, because he's fighting for that heavyweight, not only just the number 1 spot, but also the Rise of the Prospects title.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this. It's a good case for him to showcase a lot of his skills. Like, people, you see him and he's a huge, intimidating figure, but a lot of guys don't realize how well-rounded he is. Like I said, all of our guys end up that well-rounded and doing other stuff, and so he's more well-rounded than what you expected of him on paper, so.
100%. I know last time out, we actually saw a lot of his wrestling game, which we don't really see him implement too much in his fights, and he passed the test.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, round 1, he was really wanting to showcase his hands, his angles, a lot of the stuff he's been working stand-up, and then I was basically reminded him in the corner. I said, let's show him why it's MMA, let's take it down this one, and right off the bat, he was able to get it to the ground and, mostly control it from there, so.
Okay, and obviously competing for a title, it's a high-stakes fight. What would that title mean? Obviously, he's not here, but what would that title coming back to your school mean to you?
It would mean a lot. We took a break out of stuff for a long time. Actually, I credit a lot Armando from Cobra Fight Club. He was always coming back and, hey, you got a fighter for this, fighter for we got this event coming, that event coming. And for a while, I had went through a move of the school. I had went through a divorce a while back, and I was kind of not as into that side. We'd still hit a few occasional from now and then, but we weren't back into it like we are. And then so he started getting, and I was like, you know what, let's start getting back into it. And then it just started to, the fun was back in it again, and so it now we're in everything. Like, we're one weekend we may be in a jiu-jitsu tournament, next weekend a karate one, next one Muay Thai, and next one MMA, then back to we're just always, it seems like we're running and gunning. My wife was kind of mad at me. She's like, you have something booked every single weekend until now past Christmas. And I'm like, sorry. It's like the iron's hot right now. And so him coming back with the title would be excellent, especially on this second real run that we've done with our MMA fighters. So.
Okay, and also on the card we got Tyler. Talk to me about Tyler. What can fans expect from him in the cage?
I don't know if some of them may have seen his Muay Thai fight. He's fought in Rage in the Cage. He's also fighting some of the ISKA kickboxing. This kid just brings it. same thing. He had kind of had a background coming up as a kid and trained a little bit with his father, and then ended up getting here and finding us, and very well-rounded. He's done same thing, some jiu-jitsu tournaments, some kickboxing tournaments, and I feel like he's good wherever the fight may go. And that's the thing. A lot of our guys, it's kind of funny. Sometimes we'll get guys that are very much strikers coming out of our school, and then we'll get other guys that are very much ground oriented. And then on top of it, they have a little bit of a karate flavoring on top of that. So it's always funny because it cracks me up a few times. I'll see people watch some of our guys' fights, especially like with Danny, and they're like, it says here he's got a karate background. Let's see how that works out. And they're like, oh, wow, this kid, they really did a good job preparing him, and wow, he's really well-rounded, and he's making a lot of good decisions. And so they because we are a karate school, they think that we're just going to come out old school, karate. They don't realize that we're much more well-rounded, almost karate combat style, very heavily kickboxing influenced, and not just kata type karate, but pressure testing it. And so,
Well, you brought him up. Let's talk about Danny Fessler. He competes in my favorite division of flyweight, and we're back down to flyweight. I know his last fight out was at 35. So talk to me about the return to the King division.
Oh, I am super excited about him back in this division. I feel like, truthfully, I'm not sure the division's ready for him if we can keep him at 125 and him cutting through a lot of these guys. Even at the heavier weight, truthfully, he's right now in MMA, he's 0-2. Poor kid just can't buy a decision. On both those fights, I feel like he won both of those. No, great job on both opponents. Actually, I'm a fan of both of the guys we fought now. Great guys, and I actually have become friends with them. But truthfully, I feel like Danny won both of those fights. And so we're not going into this one feeling, and we've got to get this one. It's just, I tell my guys that we train weight cutting sets, fighting sets, getting punched by these fighters. For me, fights, because I'm not just a armchair quarterback. I get in there and still bang with these guys, roll with these guys. And so that part of it's hard. This part of it is the fun part. It all finally gets to come together. And so so part of our mindset is getting some of the hair of the dog that bit us. Win or lose, we're coming out there. You're going to know you were in a fight. Like we're coming to bring it every fight, every time, everyone. We're coming for everything. And so that's the mentality that we got going into it. And so truthfully, if you look at the card, most of the clubs come from bigger clubs, big MMA clubs. And as you look around here, we're just a strip mall karate school, which people, it's kind of fun sometimes because they always underestimate us. But truthfully, I've been training literally my whole life, 40 some odd years in boxing, wrestling, catch wrestling, jiu-jitsu, karate. I fenced for years in college, weapons, like everything. It's so when MMA got around, I'd been training in MMA from pretty much day one. That's what got me actually into some of the jiu-jitsu schools and classes. And so all of that knowledge, I've had my own school since 2001, and like I said, it's kind of funny they underestimate us, but we've had guys in King of the Cage and Bellator and UCFC and Rage in the Cage Rough, SEG up in Minnesota. So we've had guys all over. It's not our first rodeo, but a lot of times it's kind of funny because watch out, this guy's a karate guy. You know what I mean? But so it's that part's kind of fun for us sometimes.
Well, before my arm falls off, I do want to talk about the school a little bit. You're here in Casa Grande, so why don't you drop the socials, drop the Addy, and some of your classes.
Warriors Guild Martial Arts on Facebook, and then pretty much same thing on Instagram, warriors.guild.martial.arts, and then we're at 973 East Cottonwood in Casa Grande, and so
all right,
right on the major crossroads of Cottonwood and Treckle.
Okay, and of course I heard you talking to your class earlier. Their classes do fill up quickly at the moment, and they may or may not be taking any applicants right now. So if you're in the area, you need to get at them ASAP.
Yeah, we actually have a waiting list on almost every one of our subjects right now, that's a good problem to be in, but yeah.
Definitely a good problem to have. Again, 3 fighters on the card. You got Fessler, Tyler, and Alonzo. So look out for Warriors Guild on November 5th at the Rialto Theater.
It's going to be fire. See you guys there.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, man.
All right.